Well, guys, so it's Christmas. Figured I'd get you all a vlog, since it's been a little bit since my last one. Over here at the dad's house. Let me first start off by saying I hope you guys all had a decent Christmas, decent enough for your liking or what have you. I know mine was all right. Did all my Christmas celebration last night, Christmas Eve. It's kind of what we've been doing, or what I've been doing. Just because it kind of lined up with, you know, everything that's been going on with the family and everybody else's personal stuff. It seems like Christmas Eve is a lot easier for us to celebrate it on. The past 2 or 3 years, I've actually kind of always really done my own thing on Christmas morning, but I'm going back right now, backwards, because I was out here doing some stuff earlier, and I hope I don't get the truck stuck in the mud, because that's the problem that happened with the lawnmower. Neighbor's dog's barking. So you guys can see, a little stuck in the mud. So I've got a rope here. Let me get this thing attached and see if we can get her pulled out. No, I think I got that knot right. Rope's a little too short. I'm gonna go ahead and back the truck up and hopefully we can get this thing attached. But I knew a lot better than this. I'll tell you guys that much. Let's see what we can go from here. I think the ground should be a little bit harder over here, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, which is why the mower's stuck in the mud. Yeah, it's a little soft, a little harder here. And the back of the Ranger kind of froze up a little bit. So let's get this attached. I'll leave you guys back here for comedic effect. Well, I guess I should have bought a 4-wheel drive at some point. But I think she'll be good enough to get out now. I had to start it off the bottle this morning, just because it hadn't been running a while. As you guys can see, I got her a little muddy, and I got her stuck. The Ranger is definitely going to sling some mud. So I'm going to go ahead and get the truck moved back over. God damn, not a single fuck was given. That's why I got these cheap Walmart floor mats. Throw her in second. Time for a little fun. Back the truck over here so I can show you guys some things. Talk about some other things. So, now that crisis is averted, for the moment anyways, talk about some other stuff that's been going on. As you guys might have noticed, I'm sure you guys did, but the Ranger now has a tow hitch on it. I have been looking for a small flatbed trailer for this truck. Single axle, you know, nothing really too special. Regular trailer, maybe one about this long, maybe a little shorter. Not this wide, this one is just, it's not wide enough. and I don't even think that thing would be street legal. Kind of got to adapt to how some things are going, because, and I'll know if this is true in a few months' time once the El Nino starts really hitting us with some more rain and we get some more grass. But lawnmowers just are not selling very well, and they haven't been really since California came out with all the water restrictions. The whole sales for lawnmowers have kind of gone down. I've sold a few. I sold that big reel mower. I sold a couple baggers. Sold that Honda. But other than that, I haven't been able to sell any other ones. And it's just the way things are going. Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to stop making videos on them as I get them in, but I'm going to not really look around for them as hard as I have been. I'm not going to really make it a priority to pick up lawnmowers. I will still pick them up, but what I would like to do is get more into ones like these, because there's a lot more of a return on them, and that's kind of where that trailer comes in. There's more of a return on these, and there's definitely more of a return on like quads and dirt bikes and even motorcycles. What I'd like to do is get into, bigger items that are worth a little bit more money. Now, obviously, you guys will see all sorts of videos on that kind of shit. But I think I'm about ready to just kind of tone down the regular push mower stuff a bit. And I don't know that these will sell any easier. I know they're worth more, substantially more than a regular push mower is. However, I don't know. I don't know how that would play out. Yeah, I'm kind of looking into, the project motorcycle of some kind. So the next part of this video, about a couple weeks ago, I went and spent about 40 bucks on all the tune-up crap I needed for it. Thought I had some 10W30 oil here, but all I've got is 5W30, and that's only supposed to be run up to temperatures of 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's about 50 right now. It doesn't get that cold. Well, it doesn't stay that cold, I should say. But so I'm not going to do the oil change on it just yet, but I do have the oil filter for when I do that. This thing has been giving me some hard starting issues. If it sits for a while, I need to use starting fluid to start it, and then it runs fine, and it won't give me any problems for the time I'm using it, until I stop using it and wait a few days, and then it won't really want to start. So I don't know when the last time the fuel filter was replaced, but it looks like it's seen some better days. And it actually is a little bit bigger than what's recommended for these. And I went ahead and picked up this one, which is quite a bit smaller. Then I got a new spark plug for it and a new air filter. The old air filter does need to be changed. It's got this pre-filter on it. Probably just throw this away, but you guys can see how dusty it is. It's all nasty. And the air filter is just filled up with dirt and grime, so that'll come off. But what I am going to have to do, though, is I am going to pull off this carburetor and give it a nice thorough cleaning, because I'm pretty sure that might be where a lot of the hard starting issue is coming from. So there's a new plug. Let's go ahead and pull out the old plug. See what kind of condition it's in. A little old. Actually doesn't look bad. So the service manual recommends a 30 thousandths gap, which is what I've got right here. My feeler gauge. The gap is actually correct. Just a tad loose, but that's okay. The gap is correct on this one. So we'll go ahead and install this plug. Simple as that. Just tighten her up just a little bit more. That's probably tight enough for me. There you have it. That's been done. So now let's go ahead and get on with this thing. This is going to make a mess everywhere. Alright, got you guys on a chair. Go ahead and start removing these clamps. Not really too worried about that at the moment. Gotta pull this other clamp back a little bit. It don't even want to come out of there. At least we're getting a nice even flow. Love these things. These are such a great investment. So now we have our new one. Let's pull this out. Yeah, it'll fit in that hole. And it's got a flow line right there. It's pointing that way. So we'll go ahead and just our clamp back a little bit more. In fact, I'll actually put it on up here. This hose might actually be just a hair too big for my liking. That's been installed. I'm not going to worry about the air filter just yet because I want to pull the carb off. That won't be too difficult. As you guys can see with the carb, it's got this intake on it for the air filter. So we'll go ahead and pull that off. It should just come right off. Looks like we have a PCV line that's going here. That's pretty standard. So I'll go ahead and pull this intake out. Looks like we just got 2 retainer nuts here that'll we'll actually be able to remove the carburetor that way as well. And it's just a regular 10 mil. I'll go ahead and pull it off. Don't want to mess up that ground. There's a washer on here. We'll go ahead and pull that off as well. That's off. Inside of the gasket looks okay, but I'll go ahead and clean all this up with some cleaner. And we'll look at our carb here. This line's got to come off. Might actually replace this line as well. Okay, that's been pulled back good enough. So now I'm going to try and gingerly pull these rods out. So now we have the carb removed. See if I can go ahead and take this solenoid or whatever this is down here on the bowl out. So I went ahead and loosened up this little solenoid here with this wrench. I think this thing functions as the bowl retaining nut as well. So we'll just carefully remove it. Yeah, some sort of switch, solenoid switch or something. So now we can go ahead and pull the bowl off. Inspect the inside. Yeah, there's a little bit of dirt and grime in there. You guys can see that. It's all dirty and grimy, so I'll go ahead and give this thing a good proper cleaning, and I'll update you guys if there's anything funny that I find. And so I got the old little fuel line here that's going from the tank and the fuel pump to the carburetor. I'm going to go ahead and replace it. Got a new one that I just cut out. So we'll go ahead and slide it on like that. I'm actually going to slide it back just a little bit so it'll allow me to get everything on and lined up correctly before I go any further. Of course, you always got to fight with some things a little bit, but that's understandable. Just going to go ahead and slide it forward. I have to gingerly use these just a little bit. And that's good enough for me. Didn't damage anything. So now I'm just going to bring the 2 clamps forward. That one's in place as well. I think I can be happy with that. So now I'm just going to go ahead and clean this out. This hose right here is actually damaged just because it's so cracked and brittle. So I might just throw some silicone on this and call it good. It seems to be sealing up just fine. This is just a PCV line. It's really nothing all that important. And there's not really any oil in it. There's a little bit, but you know, it's not leaking out or anything, so I'm not really too worried about this, but I am going to go ahead and clean all this off, pull his gasket off. I don't really like messing with these just because sometimes they don't really like to cooperate, but just a little bit of gingerness and it comes off just fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and just clean all this out. So now we'll go ahead and put our gasket back on very carefully. PCV breather line back on. And had a washer there and the ground. Now we have our wire wire tie here. Go ahead and tie this back up to the bottom of the solenoid. That's about tight enough for me. And there's that. So now all we have left to do is just change out the air filter. But I'm going to go ahead and start it up first and see if we can draw some fuel or have any issues with anything like that. That's good. It's good enough for me. So I'm just concerned about getting fuel in everything and priming it. Not really too concerned about much else. Trying to see if we can open it up for a little bit more fuel. I don't think there's any fuel in here yet. Filling up now. So, let's bring it down to start. Oh, it's not liking this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start it off the starting fluid. Not a big deal. That's why I didn't put the. Come on. That's why I didn't put the filter back on just yet. Just gonna let it idle a little bit. I'll go ahead and put that new filter on. Good as new. I just gotta put this back on. Good enough for me. Let's go ahead and take it for a ride and see if anything's any different. For a little while. I gotta put all this stuff away anyways. Back with you guys in a sec. So I'm still out here working. I was about to pack up for the day and then I realized that I still had this chainsaw to more or less fix. Now I suspect, and as you guys can see, I put a bunch of silicone on the top and on the bottom, but that's because this handle, and Poulon in their infinite wisdom, made this entire handle area at the bottom and around here the gas tank. So as you guys can see, there is seams. There's this handle assembly is two halves. Well, I suspect at the factory it was not glued in properly. They probably didn't use enough glue. So I looked at the top of it, and it looked like a lot of the gas that was seeping out of it was seeping out at the top. But I went ahead and, as you guys saw earlier, went ahead and did the bottom as well and just resealed it with some silicone. So I think that should do the trick for that. Also, that idle mixture screw right there was completely off, and it was, you know, flopping around inside the gas tank, so I got that out. And then we have this little screw plate, nut plate, that, as you guys can see, I still have a piece of mechanics wire attached to. And that's because when I was putting my deal back on here, my engine cover, I couldn't get this screw to go down and lock into anything. So I took the cover back off. I figured, hey, maybe I mismatched the screws at one point, but they're all three the same size. Figured one of them might be smaller than the other two, but that wasn't it. I looked at it, I looked at these, and I saw that this one was pushed all the way down there underneath the cylinder head. So I went ahead and got it out with a pair of needle nose. I went ahead and took the little nut plate out, hooked up some mechanics wire to it, pushed it all the way down with a long flathead screwdriver, and kind of guided it back up with my safety wire and got it to go back in place. And this thing is kind of spring-loaded. There's a lot of tension on it, so you kind of have to get it in there the right way, and you're not going to be able to do it with your fingers. So I figured this might be a good enough redneck solution. I already got a little redneckish earlier with the chainsaw, so I figured why not. So I went ahead and as soon as I got it lined up there, pulled it back a little bit, tugged on it a few times, and it lined up into place. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and cut the safety wire off and put my chainsaw back together. Well, so now all the major issues are worked out with this thing. I finally sourced what was going on with the headlights. I did get them to work. For some reason, the guy actually cut off the wires. I can only suspect that to be because maybe there's a short somewhere and it was just causing them to lose power when the mower was off. I have no idea, to be honest. So I went ahead and zip tied this wire bundle here that goes to the headlights up with a tie wrap, and I'm going to go ahead and put some electrical tape on all these connections, but I'm not going to hook them up yet. This is going to be a project for another day, because what I would like to do is completely redo the wiring for the headlights, just because it's, you know, just old and shitty, and there is a fair amount of green corrosion on the ends of these wires. So what I would like to do is do that at some point, and it goes back into this wire bundle that comes back up here, and you can see the switch right there. The damn spider webs wouldn't be in the way, but switch is right here. So what I would like to do eventually is, you know, completely take this whole dash cover off and just go through and redo the wiring, because right here this wiring's been chewed on a little bit by rodents, so that's going to need to be dealt with. And then there's another wire that goes to the switch, which might be the reason why the headlights are dim. And to get them to turn on, what I had to do when the mower was turned on was cycle the switch about 3 or 4 times like that, and then just leave it on, and then they would come on, but they were just really dim. So that'll be the next project I do on this thing, is redo the headlights on it. Not that we're ever going to really use the headlights out here, but it's nice to have. I also siliconed this Ford badge on the tractor here. Silicone is a great all-purpose glue, especially for, you know, plastics and stuff like that. So I'm happy with that. I accept that. And it's getting a little later in the day. Till next time, hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas and your holidays, or whatever holiday that you decided to celebrate or didn't celebrate. Till next time, guys, you all stay classy.